let's look at Deutsche Bank. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So we do have Deutsche Bank here. It's in the too big to fail banks theme. So this is one of the economic signal themes. So yes, it's in Germany. We have a 66-ish% move from the low, but minus 15% away from the 52-week highs. So let's first look at the company's website. So this is a very famous company. Here are some images. Yeah, it's a very big bank, so they do a lot of different types of banking. Okay, so here is the chart. Deutsche Bank, it's been a lot in the news because there were very great concerns about it. It's been in a very, very substantial downtrend from the highs here. If we were to measure approximately from there to the recent low, approaching minus 97%, that's obviously a very substantial fall from grace. We have seen something that looks a whole lot like a rounding bottom being formed. So we have a monster potential rounding bottom in development. Seems like this potentially here could have been that capitulation low. Here we do form a bit of a messy inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we have seen a pretty significant rally. So the reason why Deutsche Bank is especially interesting right now is because of this purple 20-week moving average. Support, bounce, support, bounce, support, bounce. So far it's it's a decent support level. We also have a very key event with a golden cross on the weekly data points. So the last time we had a cross was here, where you have the death cross, which is very bad. It sounds bad, and it is bad. This, however, is a very substantial improvement. So you have the golden cross here, big picture, very, very bullish, and you also have this platinum cross on the corner around here, with the blue 100-week potentially crossing above the red 200-week moving average. So in looking at the RSIs, this kind of RSI level has triggered the previous dip buyers to step up. If you look here at the daily data points, we do have the blue 100-day moving average. The recent very low RSI was historically low. It has been worse in the past, but that was during that super bearish phase, given that we could be transitioning from a bear market in the stock to a full-blown nice bull market long term. Then we do expect the low end of the RSI to increase. Hence, we don't want to see these kinds of RSIs again, basically. We want it to flip, in which we have more instances of maybe a bit overbought RSI. But basically, we do come from a low level. The only thing here in the chart that I don't like is that here we bounce, rally, bounce, rally. This was very nice. But here we use 3 days goofing around before we make a decision. Here it's substantially more. So let's just measure it quickly. So here we have 10 bars, 14 days of goofing around. We would ideally like to see the bulls actually start to rally. Why aren't they doing it here? They did goof around back here. So here we used 16-ish bars before the bulls got into action. So we have been dipping below the blue 100-day moving average before, but the bulls need to act pretty darn soon. We can't goof around like that and expect the bears to stay away, because the bears will look at this. The seasonality is helpful. July is one of the strongest months. Of course, the performance of July has been depressed due to the ferocity of the bears, but it is a strong month. When we look at Finviz, we have the trend lines. We would ideally like to see some bounce from support. We haven't seen it yet, but we do have trendline support here. Nothing in particular here when it comes to the short float. I do not see any target price here. What I do see is that there are far more upgrades than downgrades. So that is interesting. When we go to SAX, we do have a number 3 hold, but we do have a B value score, D growth, and A momentum. So the style scores are definitively, bullish. Industry rank top 41%, so kind of mediocre. There is no dividend here for Deutsche Bank. No. Market cap is huge. This is a too big to fail bank. This if this company doesn't recover, if we do see it's starting to lose that 100-day moving average, then it could become more dramatic. The only potential salvation would be the formation of another technical pattern, and that is the cup, and potentially a handle could be formed. But forming a handle for such an institutionally critical bank, it's just dangerous. So I would be surprised if the bulls, the institutional bulls, allow or only, even want to experiment with the handle being formed, because handles, they can fail. You can then have the bears really get into action, and you get a breakdown. So yeah. This is a very dire point, because when we formed the low here for the Deutsche Bank, the stock was, at the low here, we were looking at, $5. That is critical for a huge bank. So yeah, I think that taking it all together, I would lean speculatively bullish on Deutsche Bank. We do have a very key support level that we want to see hold. So both for a short-term trade and also a long-term, we do want to see the 100-day moving average hold here. Given that it has offered support so many times in the past, and we do have the big picture context of a recent golden cross, the bulls don't really have any excuse not to buy this. So yeah, I'm leaning bullish, but I have a very clear level at which it's starting to get a bit more spooky. So let's look quickly here, because we do have some time at some of the other banks. So the key thing about this theme is that these are the biggest banks in these countries. So whatever happens here is a big deal. And we do see that there are some banks that are more significantly here from the highs, like the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, minus 21%. Technically, that is a bear market. So there's something happening here in China. When we look here at Germany, minus 15%, but we have looked at that one in detail. Indonesia, also one of those with a more sizable pullback from the highs, and also very mediocre performance vis-a-vis the lows. So Indonesia also a country in which gotta keep a close eye on what's happening. Then you have some very strong performance from like here with the Netherlands, Bank of America, JP Morgan also doing pretty well. I did initially consider to make a video about JP Morgan, because we do have potentially a head and shoulders pattern developing. The problem, if you look here at the chart for JP Morgan, let's do JPM. So this could become a head and shoulders pattern. The problem with a head and shoulders thesis is that as I looked at the seasonality, and the seasonality for July is the strongest it is really strong for JP Morgan, like ridiculously strong. So it's not a very, when you have like super strong seasonality, you just have to give it the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, interesting case here for Deutsche Bank, and let the trend be your friend.